Right. So, talking about the continuum of life, all of this is what we really looked at in chapter 3. We get born as children, teenagers, young adults, older adults, seniors, elders, and we come through that continuum. And relationship to us, it's in different ways, coming through that. We looked in the book at adolescence, and we said that it's from about the age 12 to the age 19, and at that point, hey, Trendy, you're welcome. We talked about physical changes takes place. We talked about puberty, taking place at that point in time. We have social, economic, psychological changes taking place at that point in time. Probably for some people, maybe you give allowance to your children, you start teaching them handling money, they could, they're exposed to sexual things because, yeah, things are taking place in their body. For the women, they probably start having their period, you know, men, they could maybe start bedwetting, and the way those are handled, can make a difference, set the foundation for the lives of these people, and that also affects the way they relate with other people also, that adolescents will not handle well could either get impregnated or impregnate somebody, so the relationships that take place at that point in time are important. You're not just going to have an adolescent male and female sleeping in the same room or seeing each other's nakedness, right? It matters at that point in time, because of the transformation taking place in their lives. As children, pretty things maybe didn't matter, their sexual features had not started growing, but at adolescence, you'll be stupid to have two genders staying together and seeing each other's nakedness. That's you, tempting the devil, right? So our relationship matters. The way we think about ourselves as to how the opposite sex is looking at us matters at that point in time. What the opposite sex thinks about us matters. The same sex might say this, but if the opposite sex says it means different things to us. Something inside of us is wanting to be affirmed by the opposite sex, and the way we then treat all of these different changes, streams, emotions, or hormones flowing matters, right? So at the adolescents need to figure out their own identity and self. It's no more the we, it's I. Those are the times they don't tell you, they don't speak in too many words. They just give you a straight answer. They simply think they know why you're asking your question, and they don't want to give you too much information. Those are the times they seek privacy. My last baby would say that we should knock before we enter our room, at that point in time, but different changes taking place, and we need to respect it. We should not be foolish to be oblivious of what's taking place in the life of our adolescents. We need to help them through those periods. We need to be understanding. We need to not see them anymore as the children that they used to be. They are changing, they are growing. They have challenges calling upon them from within. They have a war going on the inside. Our place as parents, friends, authority figures in their life is to help them win the war within. Because if they don't win the war within, they cannot win the war outside. There's a war taking place on the inside. There's a war outside. The only way they can win the war outside with peer pressure and all of that is that they find peace within. They understand. They come to peace with the different things, war, struggles that's taking place on the inside of them, the confusion, right? They can come to a place of peace with it that would help them to be able to win against the peer pressure with outside, right? But that's important. That helps us, part of our growth as human beings. Then from the adolescents, we go into the young adults. Young adult is probably between 20 and 40 years, right? And at that point in time, you're coming from adolescence, those hormones are beginning to settle down. You're beginning to get used to the transformed you. Your sexual features are now pretty much set up. but you're still getting used to them, so you're as it were getting set for life, right? So between 20 and 40, you are beginning to use all the things that you gained from adolescence. You are beginning to then use them in life or practice to use them in life, So you're exploring your identity. Who am I? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? How do I use them in winning the war of life? You are looking for stability. You're focused on yourself because you're trying to understand you, right? There's a feeling if you're in between adolescence and adulthood, because as younger, you're not really fully an adult. You're a young adult. You are an immature adult, as it were. At that point in time, so you're still getting used to this adult thing, as it were. So you have a broad sense of a possible future, but you don't seemingly feel comfortable with it yet. You are yet trying to explore life, as a young adult. It is a period of building and rebuilding oneself, right? As a young adult. Many of the decisions, so in the period of young adulthood, you're building and rebuilding yourself. Many of the decisions that are made before a person. All the decisions you're making as a young adult, you don't have experience, but yet you have to make decision about things of life. So it helps to have a mentor. It helps to have someone you can bounce ideas on, someone you can trust, but bounce ideas off of, not necessarily for them to tell you what to do, but at least you can hear yourself through them while speaking to them. It helps to have a listening here around the spirit, right? It's not just to jump at things because you don't really have experience. You're going to jump at some things and you learn from it, but the more you can test what you want to do by signing it off somebody, or having a mentor, or also learning what other people that have gone before you have done. It will help you, right? It will help you, in this time of life. Obviously, it's a place where we gravitate towards friends and all of that stuff, you know. But we're still learning life. We're transiting from adolescence into adulthood. We're adults, but we're young, inexperienced adults, and that affects the decisions we'll make and all of that, how we do life.